Oh,
hello, people.
Different side. Take it
Go.
over from here.
All right, fair enough. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV Thursday preview. West Ham versus Chelsea. To my right is Lucas, all the way from the US of A, and down the bottom there is Jay, all the way from East London. And we're here to talk about West Ham, Jared Bowen, and more. Lucas, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. I've been through an absolute hellacious week. I've had a bit of I don't know how to describe it, a cosmetic health issue. It's been really bothering me, but we took care of it today, so I'm feeling lovely as ever.
Jay, what about yourself?
Yeah, very good. Evening to everyone in chat. I just wanted to take a very quick moment to say thank you to everyone who watched the video I did earlier in the week. And I want to dispel the myth or the rumor that I saw in the comments that my Barnet is a syrup. I can assure you it is my own. It is 100% genuine. It was a bit uncontrollable that day, but otherwise it is all mine. All partial compliments onto my barber and to my mother. But otherwise I'm good, James. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Enjoying myself here. I've seen a lot of shit in the week about obviously players and, you know, like criticism and everything. But I'm going to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend. What are we expecting, Lucas, this weekend from West Ham United?
Just like any other week, I do not know. Lineup still seems in limbo. We don't really have our best 11 yet, it seems. And everyone is very unhappy at one or two things that are going on with that in relation. So, I really don't know what to expect. From the surface of it, I expect us to give Chelsea a good run, especially at home. But knowing this club, there's always surprises and presents hiding around the corner. So I don't know. I'm just taking it at face value. We're at home. We're playing Chelsea. The boys should be up for it. And I think we will give them a good run. I don't know what that will result in, but I'm expecting at bare minimum 110% effort.
What are you expecting, Jay?
Yeah, I like that's the non-negotiable, right? For West Ham is whilst we're still feeling our way to what is our best lineup, is everyone fully fit? As long as we get 110%, as Lucas said, like I'm happy. Like, granted, we can talk tactics and we can talk that we've got lineups wrong, etc. But the second those players get out on the pitch, as long as they give everything, I don't really care. I'm buzzing to get back to the stadium, especially considering this has been a really happy fixture for us in recent years. We've had it over on Chelsea for the last 3-4 years. I think we drew 1 and 1-3, something along those lines. And I see on social media the thing that makes me happy is Chelsea fans are dreading this fixture. A lunchtime kickoff at London Stadium, they do not like coming here. So that makes me happy in itself, but doesn't mean we're going to turn up and roll, and we've got to come and we've got to give it everything. So I expect us to give it all. I expect a tough game, but we should be able to get a result against them.
London Derby should be 120%, but we'll take 110.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you, boys. I'm expecting a performance from West Ham. I haven't seen a decent performance this year. I'm going to be real. Yeah, people get it a bit twisted and say a lot of shit, but for me, I've not seen West Ham kick into gear like we want them to kick into gear. Yeah, we need to see some changes in this side. We need to see this side front foot on the move fast. And Chelsea are going to be a major test. They're a side that, let's be honest, are doing all right. Considering like it was up in turmoil at the start of the season, they're actually doing not too bad. What do we do about the situation in regards of striker this weekend? Because obviously Krug might be back. Do you go with him or not?
I'd say it's probably too soon to just throw him in. I've been sitting here trying to think about this, right? Because we weren't happy with the performances of a few players, but in the attacking areas, Antonio didn't offer much and Souček didn't offer much in the last games. Parking that to the side and looking at the next game, and I'm sure there'll be some different opinions on this. There's a world where Antonio could start again and it could work. I think it depends on the centre-back pairing for Chelsea. Depends what our game plan is. Because, again, London Derby, a fully fit, fully firing Mikel Antonio, who will hopefully have recovered from any fatigue from international duty. There's a world where he could come in and he could do a really good job for us in the first half, and we could go in ahead at half-time. So I think I'm fairly relaxed about who starts up front. I'm more interested to see, can we get Somerville in the starting lineup? I think he's warranted a start. And can we play with players in more natural positions? Who the actual players are, not overly fast. I think there's a number of combinations that could do it, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But get players in their natural positions and start actually playing some decent football. That's the way I want us to approach it.
I'm going to be honest before I hand it over to Lucas. I think this is a big line that Lopetegui's got to find, if you want me to be honest. I'm actually concerned because I do feel he could be a stubborn bastard, Lopetegui. Even though he's had 5 games with us, I think his approach, he's very stubborn and very sort of one-dimensional to a point. And he's quite blessed, really, to have the firepower on the bench that he's got. Do you know what I'm saying? Because other games he would have been fucking hung out to dry, especially if he was with us last season. So I'm gonna be honest.
Just thinking of that is hilarious. Wow.
It is, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this one. I really am. I'm nervous about what he's going to do. Is he going to drop Souček? Is he going to play a bit more dynamic football? Is Somerville going to be given the opportunity? Lucas, what are you saying, mate?
I don't know. I mostly agree with Jay. It would be refreshing to see a lot more players playing in their natural areas. I mean, position. There's so in football now, really, positions only mean so much. It's more about what areas you try to get your players in. And as long as the season's been going, and even last season when we see again, I almost said it, Pacutis, but Kudus on the left, it's just never a great idea. Even though you could make the argument that Kudus out on the left is arguably still better than Somerville's best, which, again, it's a good debate. I'm here for it, but yeah, it'd be refreshing to see if we can get more of our players in their best and natural areas. But I really don't know what to expect. Like, I think I wouldn't say comfortable with the striker area necessarily, but I would say I'm not too bothered because, like Jay said, if Antonio starts, I really won't be fussed. It's a London derby. He loves a London derby, but I wouldn't say I'm eager to see Bowen back up front, but like I'm all for ideas. I don't really like being cemented into one idea. I do like there being some variables, some different options, and I can't tell if I'm growing bored or frustrated of what I'm seeing so far, or if it needs a little bit more time. I'm leaning towards a little bit more time because, I mean, this is only going to be our 5th match, our 4th Premier League match, whatever it is, but I still think we need a little bit of time. Even if Fulkrug played, I wouldn't mind, but the striker area is just so tiring to talk about. We're so cursed, and then everything we see all around Twitter of whatnot, certain other strikers scoring, whatnot, it is just an absolute nightmare. But yeah, besides that, I just really don't know what to expect. All I can do is hope for the best.
Do you know what? What it is with me, I'm going to be honest, it's the Thomas Souček situation in regards of him being a 10. That's the one where...
Yeah, that's really the only gripe I have. And again, people can say Souček's shit, Souček's that, blah, blah, blah. As far as my concern is, if Lopetegui keeps playing him as a 10, I can't really put any blame on him. He's literally putting a polar bear in Arlington, Texas. Like, what do you expect from him? I would rather see Souček play as the 9 than as the 10, genuinely. I think that'd be far more effective. But again, I'm optimistic, but I'm keeping my guard down a bit because it is a London derby. Anything can happen, you know.
I was just gonna say on that, like, we talk about who's going to start in the striking areas. If we start Souček in the 10, it is completely irrelevant. Like, it's absolutely irrelevant. To your point, like, I actually wouldn't mind. I'm not saying this is what I would do, but I wouldn't mind if he starts Souček but starts him deeper and has him making the late runs that we're used to seeing. It's not a perfect scenario, and it's not what I would do. But if he does that, but then plays like a Soler or a Paqueta in the 10, a more natural player who wants to get on the ball and who wants to actually link midfield and attack and get the wingers in the game, it's suddenly a different kind of game. And Souček started in this fixture a number of times before and has scored against Chelsea. We beat Chelsea last season with Souček in the team. So I as far as I'm concerned, like, I agree with you, but the striker, like the debate about anyone in any position is irrelevant if we play Souček as our most advanced midfielder, because he's just not that guy. It's not fair on him.
It's a tough one, because I think, I don't know. I think there's a lot of like just aesthetic pleasings going on. Like, I think I mentioned it last week. Like, I like Guido Rodriguez. I think he's a real steady player, but he really hasn't done much, if you ask me. Like, he's calm on the ball. He's safe on the ball. He does make a few diags. He does play a few decent balls, but I feel like nothing really comes from it. As with what we've seen before, Souček playing in the double pivot or as an 8, whatever, we've seen him produce a lot more, but he's not aesthetically pleasing. So, and again, as we've discussed before, Lopetegui probably doesn't know what his strongest 11 is. A lot of people think they know what our strongest 11 is, but both things, or both sides, one thing that is in common is how are we going to fit everyone into it, the best 11, you know what I mean?
Doesn't fit.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why a few of our signings that we made is a bit of a head scratcher. But then again, it is nice to have the options. That's why I'm staying open, optimistic. Besides Souček in the 10, honestly, as long as Souček does not play in the 10 or in the hole, whatever you want to call it, he's most certainly not playing as an 8, in my opinion. I'm open to everything. But if Lopetegui continues to play him in that area, we are essentially playing 10 versus 11.
You lose a man in the build-up, didn't you? You completely lose a man in the build-up. And regardless of like who's playing where or whatever, you're asking Lucas Paqueta, who's in that deeper position, to progress the ball. You're asking him to progress the ball when you've got Bowen, who likes to hug the touchline. So he will immediately try and turn and find Bowen. It's a left-footed player trying to find a right winger, which is fine. But that's his only out ball. It doesn't work. And
I agree with what Kane's saying here. Souček 10 is an outrageous focus on something else.
It is outrageous.
No, the thing is, that's not our only focus, but I feel like when we're trying to score goals, right, it's just, I don't know, it's in the build-up as well. It's a bit of a problem area, but other players as well really need to step up and really tuck their shirts in. Like Paqueta, for one, he really needs to look himself in the mirror and lace his boots up, because he has not been good at all this season, along with many other players. They have not been good enough, especially someone like Lucas Paqueta, who people want to put in arguably the most important position in the middle of the park.
Hello? Is he gone?
I wasn't sure if James had frozen or if he was just fuming at you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Right. Well, I don't even know whether it cut out or not. The only thing I will say...
Did you hear me at all, what I said?
I heard a bit of it and it cut out on me.
Basically what I'm saying is I agree with Kane. I don't think Souček is the biggest or main problem, but in my opinion, one of the most important areas in which our game is the build-up, and Souček being in such a pivotal area, I think, is a problem. But there are a lot of other players that have been playing worse, in my opinion. Like Paqueta really needs to step up against Chelsea. He needs to tuck his shirt,
agree.
Lace his boots.
I agree with that, but there's many issues. Yeah, and let's not paper over the cracks here, ladies and gentlemen. Kudus, number 1, left. No, he's right wing. He's not left wing, right? That needs to change. Yeah, Souček as a 10, right? I'm sorry, he should never be a 10. If he's a 10, then I'm a fucking 10, and I'm not a 10. You know what I'm saying? 100%. I'm far from a 10. I'm 10 times 3, 30. That's what I am, right? At the end of the day, that's not right. Even Rodriguez, to a point, yeah. Should we have 2 DMs in our ranks?
I still don't know what position he is, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't know if he's an 8 or a 6. But again, like I said, with him, I feel like a lot of people, it's weird. A lot of people are giving him a pass, but not Fulkrug. I find that very weird. And again, I think that all comes down to aesthetics. I think Rodriguez has been aesthetically pleasing, but really no productivity. But with Souček, not aesthetically pleasing, but he's produced for us. And I really think we need to start looking at the production of some players, especially Paqueta. Like, I think Paqueta is so important to the side, and when he ticks, we tick. If he doesn't tick, we're bland. We're boring. There's no creativity.
The thing is, we are literally asking for trouble. Like, I don't know about you, Jay, but we're asking for trouble if Paqueta doesn't play well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And when we're talking about players producing, right, I'm glad you brought up the Kudus on the left thing, right? Because I've been thinking about this, and he's not a left winger. It is not his natural position. He looked tired against Fulham, but if we're talking about the production of players and the output of players, Kudus is still an immensely talented footballer. And we've seen glimpses of when he's out on the left wing, he drops in and there's occasions when he'll drop in, he'll get involved in build-up play and he'll force his way into the game. And when he does it, more often than not, he'll get himself on the ball, he'll turn someone in a more central area and he'll create something and he'll progress us up the pitch. He did it against Palace really well a couple of times. He did it against City and we went up the other end and scored. So we've got to ask questions of Kudus as well and say, I know that he's out of position, but he's also immensely talented. And I want to see him dropping in and getting nearer to Paqueta in build-up phases to give Paqueta the outball that he doesn't have. Because I agree with everything that Lucas has said. He hasn't been producing enough. He hasn't been getting us up the pitch. He hasn't looked like the same kind of player this season. He looks like his confidence has gone. So what he needs is a quality player near him that he knows he can play intricate passes with. Now, it normally is Emerson, but that link-up hasn't quite happened as it normally does, because I think because he hasn't been playing on the left, which he did a lot of the time last season. So they didn't necessarily have that freedom for Emerson to go beyond him. So what I want to see is Kudus drop in and get more involved in the build-up play and offer a bit more of a triangle with Paqueta and Emerson. And the reason I say that is partly from watching Aston Villa. Aston Villa rotate who out of their three behind the striker drops in and gets involved. And it just creates a new angle every single time. We have got players of a similar quality to what Aston Villa have got in build-up phases in attacking areas. So I want to see us try and do the same kind of thing. I don't think it's asking too much as well. If we do see Kudus out on the left again, which there's a good chance that we will, then I want to see him try and force his way into this game. I don't want to see him just hide out there.
Yeah, if he continues with this fucking Kudus on the left, then I am going to severely get pissed off at Lopetegui. I don't really give a fuck what anyone says. At the end of the day, Mohamed Kudus is one of the best wingers in the Premier League for dribbling. And we've got this geezer on the left-hand side. I'm sorry, that is just fucking brain-dead tactics. Yeah, and what it is, what Lucas said earlier, to make Lucas 100% right, we're trying to shoehorn players in because of the striker situation. This could easily be resolved if you just put Bowen up front, Kudus on the right. And this attitude where people say, oh, but Bowen's better on the right. Who gives a fuck? You got two good right wingers there. Do you know what I mean? And if it ain't working in game, you can just swap them around and go Kudus up front and fucking Bowen on the right. It really does not matter. But putting Mohamed Kudus on the left-hand side, you are literally asking for him to be shit, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's wrong.
In the chat, and again, not to keep hammering on about Souček, because I do agree it is a bit of a boring topic, but you take him out of the side, set piece defending's awful. No one really there to put their life on the line for the club besides Alvarez, and no one to really defend the box, crash the box, set piece threat. It is a real difficult one, and I'm happy I'm not the manager. I'm happy I don't have to make
But is that enough, Lucas? Is that enough for him to start?
I think so, personally.
See, the thing is, well, I look at it that you take Rodriguez out, because I don't think Rodriguez is as good as what people say. I think he's a good player to come in to make way for Alvarez if Alvarez is suspended, but starting every game, not for me. If Souček's a midfielder, then I will just accept it for what it is, yeah? But not as a fucking 10. If people honestly think that this man's a 10, then they need to seriously stay off fucking drugs, mate, because he's just not a 10. Do Do you know what I'm saying? And all it's about crashing the box. We don't cross the ball in enough for him to crash the box. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just don't get it. Bowen up front for me, and Kudus needs to go on the right. Let's go to starting lineup then. What we're saying about the starting lineup at the weekend?
Are we giving what we think Lopetegui is going to go with, or what we want to see, or both? What are we saying?
We'll do it one at a time. Obviously, Ariola being goal. Who goes left back? Does Emerson come back, or
I hope
not?
so. I think that's not being talked enough about either. Hopefully he does play.
If he doesn't, is it Soufal right back, Wan-Bissaka left?
I think it has to be, doesn't it? Like it absolutely has to be. I worry for like poor old Aaron Cresswell coming in and starting against Chelsea for his first start of the season. Who do they have on the right? Madueke, and Palmer will rotate with him. He'll get absolutely burned alive. So I hope that we switch. And I really like Wan-Bissaka at left back, by the way. I think him tucking in and inverting a little bit and driving forward looks really, really good. So I've no problem with them switching Wan-Bissaka to left back and bringing Soufal in at right back. I think Soufal, if Bowen then starts on the right wing as well, like Soufal and Bowen get each other, Soufal will go beyond him and he'll put crosses into the box. So if you've got an Antonio, or if I know there's a tiny chance, or if Fulkrug's on the pitch, you'll get balls into the box, which we've been lacking. So yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Lacking, been non-existent.
Yeah,
literally corners, set pieces, everything non-existent. And I see what Danny has put in here, and I kind of agree. Sorry, Lucas May, if we are dependent on Souček for set pieces, we need to pack it in. He is quite literally, our only set piece threat. Kilman, not great in the air. Todibo, not great in the air. Mavropanos is okay. He's a good leaper, but his heading ability is a bit spotty. But that's it. And you need some sort of threat on set pieces, and I think Souček is our most reliable. But again, that set pieces might not be in Lopetegui's plans. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I actually agree. Right, centre halves, Kilman. Does Mavropanos keep his place? Yes or no?
I think he does. I wouldn't, but I think he'll start again. I don't think he'll start Todibo. I would start Todibo if it's my choice, but I think he's going to wait until the Liverpool game to bring Todibo in.
I think for me, I don't know if it's the curiosity in me that just wants to see Todibo start, and the fact that he's a new shining, a new car in the garage. But I think Mavropanos does start, and I don't think it's completely undeserved. I know he did not have the best of matches last week, but there's a lot of people saying that Todibo deserves to start. That's not that's not the correct verbiage, in my opinion. No one really deserves to start besides a few players in the 11th. But I'm unbothered. If Todibo starts, I won't be that bothered. If Mavropanos starts again, it is what it is. I understand.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. Right, what was that about midfield? We going 4-3-3 on this one? Is that what we're saying?
To be general, I guess.
Yeah. Right, Alvarez will go as a DM. I think we all know that. Does Rodriguez start, or do you take Rodriguez out, put Souček where Rodriguez is, and then Paqueta next to him?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I would do exactly the same. I don't think there's a world where he goes Alvarez, Paqueta, and Soler. Although I liked the energy Soler brought, and I think he's made for a big London derby. It's probably too soon for him. So I'd go Alvarez, Rodriguez, Paqueta.
What are you saying, Lucas?
I would go Alvarez, Paqueta, Souček, personally.
See, I can accept. I can accept that, because that's a 3-man midfield, but not as a 10, right? The Soler, for me, don't forget, he's lucky to be on the fucking pitch. He was lucky to be on the pitch the other day. He could have easily got sent off. So, let's not make out that he was fucking amazing. Right, we'll go up front then. What we're saying?
I think we're gonna see the same thing again. I think we will see Kudus on the left. I think Antonio will get the nod again if Fulkrug is not ready to go, and then Bowen on the right. But if it was me, I would. I don't know. It's different with every match. Like at a London derby, I really back Antonio. I really do. So I would not mind seeing him start, but I don't know. I don't know what I want. I really don't. But I think Antonio will be up front, Kudus on the left, Bowen on the right.
Right, I'll tell you what I want. Crescencio Somerville, Championship Player of the Year, Leeds' Player of the Year. We've got a fucking good player and he sits on the bench. Fucking typical of West Ham. Crescencio on the left, Kudus on the right, and Jared Bowen through the middle. I'm sorry, but this love affair with Mikel Antonio, been a great servant, been a great guy. Yeah, but all good things do come to an end, and he's got a whole bench, as Sir Daddy would say. Yeah, whole bench, sit on the bench and stay on the fucking bench. Yeah, Jared Bowen through the fucking middle, and Kudus on the right, and Somerville on the fucking left. You've got pace on either flank. You've got counter-attacking pace on either flank, and you've got a person up front that will press from the front. Antonio doesn't press enough. Falkirk doesn't press enough. And we need pressing players. We need to hurry Chelsea into action and make it hard work for them. If we just allow them to have the ball and fucking just pass it around us, we're going to be fucking shit. Simple as that. So that's me. Somerville left, Kudus right, and Jared Bowen, the captain, the leader, centre forward.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. It just, again, I'm not a professional. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You ain't got to be professional. It's just my eyes don't lie, and my eyes say fucking you place two pace merchants on either flank and a pacey player through the middle. Do you know what I mean? What you saying, Jay?
I just love that we're 4 games into the season and Lucas is already exhausted of all of this.
Dave,
yeah,
after what Fever said, I literally just wanted to reply with realize. That's all.
Oh man,
that's the definition of West Ham for me.
Yeah. I can't add too much more to what James has said. Like, I think I agree with everything. Like, Antonio loves the London derby. He scored in his fixture last year, but he's done after about 20 minutes, and then his legs have gone. So I'd rather save him for the last something like that when he's against the tiring defense. Unleash him and see what he can do. So, yeah, I'm all for exactly what James has said, and then save Antonio for the end and get him to come in and cause some chaos if we're chasing a goal. So I haven't got much else to add.
Yeah, Lopetegui's got to get it right this time. Simple as that. There's no excuses now.
The question I've got for you, James, is when Kudus inevitably does start on the left, which flavour of bleach will you be drinking?
Fuck those, mate. I won't be pleased though. I'm going to be honest. This is where Lopetegui's going to start losing the fan base, and this is where the fan base will start turning. Because I just don't get it. I don't know about you boys. I'm going to be real. I just do not understand it. We've got a really good player in our ranks, and we're playing him out of position. Now, our ex-manager used to do that to other players, and he used to get criticised beyond belief. It seems like all of a sudden we can't say this about Lopetegui because he's new, and this style of play just doesn't match what we're trying to do. Long ball FC up to Souček to hold the ball up. What the fuck is all that about? Like, I mean, we're not what are we 21st century Stoke? Like, that's not how it should be. And people say, oh, you've got to give it time and you've got to trust the process. Give me something to trust. That's what I say. Give me something to go, right, I can see what he's doing. I can see where he's going. I can see how he's trying to play. I've not seen fuck all at the minute. I've seen us fucking like smash and grab at fucking Palace. I've seen us get fucking dominated by Villa. Yeah, and we're a good side, and this is where it irritates me with some fans and some people. Right, they downplay us like we're a piece of shit, and we're like bottom half. We are a top 10 side. We've got some top class players in our ranks, and we start acting like it at the end of the day. So if he does play him on the left, and he puts in a 6 out of 10 performance, then questions will need to be asked. I'm sorry, you might not like the question, but the question needs to be asked of why do you consistently play your right-sided attacker on the left, Lucas?
The only issue really with me is we've got the quality, we've got the players, we just have no identity, and you can't. This isn't hashtag Barclays men. This isn't the Barclays of 2005, 2006, where you literally could just put 11 players on the pitch, have them express themselves, and get you 3 points. Like, the game has progressed. The game has got a lot more complicated, more tactical, and people will find you out. People will exploit you. And really, that's like my only takeaway from the start of the season so far is we really don't have an identity yet. And again, even though I'm not a Lopetegui fan, I never have been. I didn't want him at the club. I am going to give him his time and a chance to give us an identity. But again, that's just my opinion, and that's the reason why I think we have looked lackluster. So I think it is fair that we have looked that way because we have no identity, in my opinion. Like, you could have a debate and a discussion all day about how we play or the way we do play, but I genuinely do not believe people know what our play style is yet.
No.
And me personally, I will not know until, or I won't have a confident answer until like December or Christmas, genuinely.
Time to take the shackles off, ladies and gentlemen. The shackles were on last year. These shackles have been here all summer. Shackles off, attack over the top, lads. That's what I say. Moving on to predictions time. Right, I'm going to start off with Jay. Jay, what you saying about predictions?
Oh, man. Again, like, if we'd have got the lineup right last week, I feel like we'd have won the game. I say the same again. If we got the lineup right this week, we'll win the game. But I don't think we're going to change what needs changing. And to Lucas's point, I don't think we have any idea how we're trying to play football. I don't think we know where our like progressive either players or passes are actually coming from. So I think it's going to make the game harder than it needs to be, considering like, I think on our day, we've proven over the last few years, we beat this Chelsea team at home. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. It based on what I think Lopetegui is going to do. But if we do take those shackles off, 3-0 win, lads, comfortably.
Lucas, what are you saying?
Shackles off. I'm smelling 5-4 West Ham. For me, and I do make Kane right. He does say here, our play style is built up from the back and hit it long and direct. That's what I've seen so far. But again, I'm not cementing that quite yet. But whoever does say that, I don't really have much to say or rebuttal with. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a tricky match. London derby never disappoints. Chelsea and West Ham are a bit in kind of like the same area or spot right now, in my opinion. Both sides, a lot of good players, but not really performing the way I think they'd like to. I predicted yesterday, and I think I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with 2-2 Desmond.
I'm actually worried about this one. I actually think we're going to get destroyed, if I'm being honest. And that's no joke. I think we're going to get done 3-1. I think West Ham will set up with Antonio as they normally do. And I think if this is what Kane's saying, long ball straight up to a target man, if Fulkrug's not there, then who else is it going to be?
That actually just gave me PTSD of I forget which match it was, but Paqueta was just spraying hoofballs.
Yeah,
like for 10 minutes straight. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and I think with Chelsea's like defense being strong, I think they would handle that. Like they will handle Thomas Suchek quite easily, and anyone, like even Antonio to a point. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to do us, mate. I think they're going to be on it, and I think if they score first, we're going to have to come out, and then that's where we're going to get done. He's going to have to change it. He's going to have to set up an counter-attacking style, allow Chelsea to come on to us, like defensively strong, and then hit them on the break. I think if we hit them on the break, we've got a chance. I think we try and play this long ball straight up, hope for the best. And someone said it the other day, and shout out We Are West Ham podcast. They said about when the ball comes up, just when the ball comes to someone, it's like Paqueta straight to Kudus or Paqueta straight to Bowen. Like there's no build up. It's just like long ball. And if they isolate them players, then we're fucked really. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Chelsea. But if West Ham get a draw at this game, I'll be happy.
The one thing I am keeping faith in is that and I've said it, and I'm always going to keep saying it so people know what the score is with me, and I don't want people twisting my words or saying I'm part of this narrative or agenda, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I have always praised Lopetegui with, I do love his substitutions. He seems to always make them at the correct time. He always seems to fix his mistake he seems to nail it on the bud to fix something when it really needs to be done. And I do think that will play into our advantage against Chelsea, because I do have faith. Say if we do start Antonio, if he's having a bad half, I think he will get hooked at halftime, and we could see Bowen shifted up top and Kudus on the right, whatever. So that is the one thing I am going to keep close to my chest in terms of optimism with Saturday. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. The result, I do not know though.
Any final words for you, Jay?
Yeah, I think that's the reason we're all feeling frustrated, right? Is the ingredients are there, but like we wouldn't know how to boil an egg at the moment. Like that's the problem. Like,
sure.
I think we still have had a really good transfer window. We still have got a really good squad, and we just can't. Like us as West Ham fans, who are relative idiots compared to like the professionals who are paid scandalous amounts of money, are looking at this going, lads, are we the problem? Like, we can't be the problem. Like, the solution looks right there. It looks like it's really simple to solve. So I think that's why I didn't want us to be getting so frustrated after like 4 or 5 games. But
that's exactly why. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what their opinions are. I am not giving my full-on passionate assessment until December. I really won't. And I think any new manager does deserve that leadway, unless things go absolutely chaotically wrong. Like say on Saturday, Lopetegui goes on to lose 6 straight matches. Then I might hit the panic button a bit early, because we shouldn't be losing no matter who it is 6 straight.
Yeah, but this is the argument that I've been having on sort of social media over the last few days, is that people say, oh, you got to give it till December. But if you're seeing a team that you know is just not right, Souček up as a 10, not right. Kudus on the left, not right. Even Antonio starting when he doesn't deserve to start. Like, we're saying that Todibo doesn't deserve to start over Mavropanos. Does Antonio deserve to start? At the minute, absolutely not. So I think he's got to get this lineup spot on. Right, he's got to nail down a lineup that he believes in and stick to it. Now, if it is Souček as a 10 and Mo on the left, then it's going to be very hard to sort of get on board with it, because you've got 2 players there that are not playing in their natural positions. So
it all depends on the results. I mean, if Lopetegui lines up again like he did last week, maybe with a few other minor changes, but we're getting results, it's hard to really argue. But again, I get it from both sides. I understand where people are coming from, but for me, right now, this season, in my opinion, is all about results. I want to get back to Conference League. I want to be fighting for that spot. I miss European football already. I've seen absolute shit Champions League matches go on so far, and all it does is make me miss us going to fucking Serbia in the middle of nowhere. And like, I miss it. And this season, in my opinion, is all about getting back there. No rebuild. That's a bunch of shit, in my opinion. The main mission this season, that's the only thing I will say I'm very passionate about in terms of opinions this season. This should not be a rebuild. There should not be a 2-3 year rebuild. We've got the players to get back, but squad building is a whole different issue. That's down to the technical director and the manager, or technically our head coach. So
yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. Jay, anything you want to add on, mate, before we make a move?
Not really. I think the final things from me, just delighted to get back to London Stadium on the weekends. I'm still positive that we can get a result. I hope he gets it right, and I hope we're all having a laugh at Chelsea's expense after the game. But we'll see, won't we? And I'm sure we'll dissect it at some point. So,
I can't wait for Tosin to not even be in the matchday squad after his cute little tweets.
Oh, lovely!
Time to burst their bubbles. Love it. How cute.
Well, let's hope we can continue our run against Chelsea. I will say that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, and hit that notification bell. Final word from me is this: Lopetegui, you've got to start picking the strongest lineup and put these players in their natural positions. I can't keep seeing Thomas Souček as a 10, Mo on the left, and Mikel Antonio as a centre forward. Sorry. This is the new era, not the old era, and we're playing the old players in the new era. It just doesn't work. It's a big game against Chelsea. Like history tells you that we don't like to lose against Chelsea, so let's make sure we don't lose against them on the weekend. Anyway, from me to you, take care. Posh.